So drugs have become a menace for many parents out there. And many children out there, their careers have been cut short. Some have ended up in prison. Some have actually even lost their mental focus as they get introduced to drugs. Zimbabwean government has actually come out strongly, bringing out police to crack drug units, right? In Toriro and some other, names of drugs that I'm not really aware of, crystal meth, mbanje, and the like. This drug menace did not exist some 2-3 years ago. It's getting worse. And parents like myself are worried. Now, the community has come out together to try and ensure that there is awareness on how to deal with drugs and what these drugs do to our young people. In that effort, there's a movie called Focus that has been put in place to ensure that it educates children in schools and to ensure that also as parents, we are aware of these syndicates and how drugs ruin people's lives and how we can better our society. Now, here on the situation right now with me, your host as usual, Dhara B, we look at the drug menace, people, power, and entertainment. Now, I'm joined in studio this afternoon by the team that took its time to give you entertainment, education around drugs. So join me after this break as we talk Focus, the movie, focus on drugs, focus on our children, and focus on this cast. Welcome back to The Situation Right Now with me, your host as usual, Dhara B on Heart and Soul TV and radio. And I bring you the issues that you should know. I answer for you the questions, so what? Now, in studio, I'm joined by the kingpins in the movie, the drug lords. Now, I'm going to start with you. Just, introduce yourself. I know in the movie you've got a name that you use and you have tattoos that I can't see right now, but I'm not sure where they went to. But talk to us, introduce yourself and tell us why Focus.
My name is Ryan Hussein, and I play Chamba in the movie. Chamba is the kingpin, the drug kingpin in the movie. The tattoos you mentioned are not there anymore because they were aesthetics. They were not real. But that aesthetic was meant to serve the character and how big and important it was, and it was supposed to be scary, it was supposed to be fearsome. And yeah, doing this movie for me was an easy choice, an easy decision, because bringing awareness to this particular situation is something that everyone, not just young people, is supposed to be keen on. And so when I read the script and when I heard about what the movie was going to be about and working with these guys, it was a simple decision. And I think we accomplished everything that we needed to accomplish with this movie as far as awareness goes. And I can't wait for everyone to watch it.
Amazing. Now, your name in the movie?
I'll become Dogwan.
Dogwan, what was the choice of that name, Dogwan? Let's talk about it. Let's immerse people in that character.
All right. So, like here in Zimbabwe, so I don't know if I'm here. So the character, and the character Pachai is the doggy one, a dog one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan will be like my master, so I'm the dog. I think I should do 2 more questions about it. So no character.
So is this character a real character that actually is found in the circles where people, doing drugs, and how do people get to be so, used to that level?
Okay, it's like when I was given the character, I did my research for the character. Like, ndaitoenda kumabhesi kwationa kwazvinoitirwa for more than 2 months. Tichida kunyatsoona kamuitiro kazvinoita sei kazvinoitwa
Kadogan.
exactly. So atoripo macharacters akadaro akaita sandogan.
You appeared in the first instance of the movie as without power, and eventually when it was ending, you were the master, the kingpin. Yeah. And let's talk about this transition from the beginning to the end of the movie, and how you immersed yourself in that character.
So this was my first time actually acting. But when you look at the character that was given and the name, Mutoriro, you see how when you start with it, it doesn't look like something that could eventually make you go mad or have you be some type of way, so it sneaks up on you. And I think that's what my character was supposed to give, something that you're not exactly expecting. So it starts off small, starts off light, and then the next thing you know, you've lost your mind. So I feel like, in a way, I tried my best to embody that as well.
Have you like before met people or had a conversation with people who have been immersed with this Mutoriro, like it sneaked up on them, they thought they were in control, then at the end of the day they discovered that they were not in control?
Not really. Like indirectly, walking the street, you see what drugs do to people. You find a person knocked out flat in the middle of the road, But at first, when you try it, you're sober. Your mind is clean most of the time. And then when you're done, you literally don't know who you are anymore. You've lost yourself. So I've seen how that has affected a lot of people, a lot of youth. And I feel like I had to show that to people, that you're never in control. You're always going to be made to, turn.
You always turn around. Yeah. But Chamba, you had a millipede, a zongoro, and stuff like that. What was the choice of your pet? What was that?
That was a very random choice. Actually, we were rehearsing one day with the cast and crew, and we saw one just like crawling past, and I picked it up. And as you know, usually with like chongololos, they have like an instinct where if you even try to get close to them, they curl up. But that one did not. Like it just started to just walk on my skin. It was like it wasn't afraid. And I thought that was a bit psychopathic of it. Like it was a psychopath of a chongololo. So I thought it would be a perfect pet for a psychopath of the character. Amazing. So that's how that came about.
Amazing. But you took hostage, sort of young innocent children. Yeah. What's the lesson around it, and how can young women escape this vice where they find themselves entrapped in the world of drugs and they can't walk out?
It was dark having to explore that kind of reality. And it is a reality because one thing that was very apparent was how difficult it was, or it is in real life, for parents to protect their children. So many parents have no idea what their children go through and what they get up to. So when they get involved in circles like this, it becomes very difficult to protect them because you don't have any idea what's going on. As far as girls and young girls and even young men protecting themselves in the circles, I think awareness is the most important thing we can do. That's the best that we can do. And this movie in particular is about that. just paying attention to the small details, to the small things, and listening to your children when they speak, because they do give you hints, they do give you signs. So just paying attention to everything and spreading that awareness with all age groups, really, because everyone does need to look out for each other. So I think that is key, just spreading awareness. Yeah.
I mean, in the movie, sorry, mostly it looked like women were the victims. Let's talk about that.
Women as being the victims. I don't think women truly are just the victims, because now we're being made to be a tool to actually lure men in. So you find that women, they feel helpless sometimes around women. It's easy to influence them. It's easy to manipulate them. And with these drug dealers, they're using women to actually get men into this thing. So you find that in the movie, as much as it seems like women are the target, women are actually being used to get and lure these men in there. Because you find that through stuff like sex, most of the times associated with drugs as well. You're going to have drugs, then you're going to want, the woman, and the next thing you know, you're hooked. So it's not always just us being the victim. Sometimes we actually want to be part of it and actually want to be luring people in. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
So you talk about the drugs and the sex. Now, it brings in a new dimension, is it? Around STIs and AIDS and stuff like that. And as a country, we are looking to ensure that we also fight this AIDS scourge, is it?
Yeah. There's a whole lot of things that drugs open doors to. And when you look at its association with sex, you find that the STIs and STDs, then you find unwanted pregnancies, then you find an increased level of abortions. So there's a whole lot of things. And most of the times, with abortions, it's not done right, because some clinics frown upon it and then you don't get help. So you're going to look for, other people who will be like, nah, don't worry, I'll just cut up your tummy, take the baby out. But that's not healthy. That's often fatal most of the times. So I find ultimately it leads to death in the end of it.
Yeah, Dogwan, I looked at you at the end of the movie when you were wearing orange. And you're sitting there with guys playing chess and stuff. And there was tears in your eyes. What was going on at that particular moment?
All right. At that moment, I was now regretting, what have I done? I wasted my time. So it was all about regret. And now I was in prison, which is Harare, Jamjam. So yanga yanguva yekuti ndakunyatsaona kuti ndakatamba neupenyu, ndakatamba netime yangu. So kwava kuchema kwega.
I mean, talking to people, if you have an opportunity to talk to young people, especially vanenge vachitumwa vanoshandiswa vanadhokwana, the runner boys, and actually you get less, is it not? Timune musina mari yakawanda kudarika vanachamba ndo vanenge vari varidzi vemari, unenge uchingotumwa and getting the crumbs and stuff. What would you say? Especially since you told me that you actually had an opportunity to go to my base and see these guys.
Okay, chekutanga ndechekuti madrugs haazi kutombobata, haazi kutombotesta, ndekugara wagarira kure. That's number one. Zvinoitika ndezvekuti sometimes peer pressure chaiyo. Kunze nefriend yako ngatimboendei chimbonzwa kasina kaka chimboputa chakadai, so maybe waziziye but friend yako ngona kupinza munhu zvakaita zvakadaro. So semayouth ndokurudzira kuti usatombova wakainvolve munhu zvinhu zvakadaro. Even kana mumaparty pamabirthdays paipai ndomba zvinotangika sometimes. Nhasi ingori birthday rangu tongorowa mbinjana, then addiction yakutokura pabirthday remumwe muzoita futi then matonechi addiction. So ndoti kumayouth musabvume kutumwa kana kutengesa zvinodhaka, because most of the time mayouth aya azeyo vanogadzira madrugs. The blame inozouya kumayouth, but madrugs aya pane kwaari kupobva, pane supply line yese iripo apo inonyarara haitauri handiti. Then chamakutaura ndechemunhu azoaffectwa nemadrugs. Kasi hamusi kutaura kwagadzirwa madrugs kana kuti mafambiro aaita kuti azosvika kune mayouth aya handiti. Pane supply line yese iri pakati apa, hapana anomboitaura. Hazviitwi kana nemayouth aya because madrugs aya kutaura mari yakawanda, which means kuti kutaura mabig fish amene kana kuti vanhu vakuru handiti. So tinozongodzoka takangoti mayouth, but ngati hanze yekusupply line iyi ndo inofanira kuti ikatwe. Takakata supply line iyoyo inisa kuona kwangu tokwanisa kuderedza nyaya yemadrugs and substance abuse.
Chairman, now Doc, when he talks about this supply line, and you're the kingpin dealing with the supply line of these drugs. But so some young people will tell you that they have no hope in life. You know, they don't have jobs. They you know, their only solace is in being high.
Yeah.
Do you understand this thinking?
I do, because it's you need to listen to them when they're saying that, because it's valid. They are going through things that put them in those particular situations, so we do need to pay attention to what they are saying. Spreading awareness is a good thing, but it's not the end or be all. You need to explore other avenues as well. Giving these people an alternative, a different way to spend their time is also just as important as spreading awareness. Because if someone has to be around other people who are doing drugs for hours in a day, the likelihood of them indulging at that point is already increased. So that is another aspect of this entire situation, is we don't just need to say, don't do that. We also need to focus on trying to engage these people in a different way and trying to make sure that they have other things to do and other important things to focus on.
Amazing. But apart from this movie, what else do you do to also ensure that we are out of just doing the awareness and making things move in a different direction?
I guess as youngsters, we talk, and I think as much as it's in small circles, it's still just as important, because each one of us here has seen or knows someone that's been affected by this. So just talking to people and getting everyone to understand, and getting everyone sometimes to even just see for themselves how bad it has gotten is important. So I think all we can do sometimes is just talk about it, so that the next person talks about it to the next person they talk about it. So yeah.
What was your favorite part in this movie?
Holding the gun. Holding the gun. That was my favorite part. Yeah.
Oh, why? Why was it your favorite part?
I don't know. I've just got this thing. I like firearms, and I felt powerful holding that thing. To be honest, not that I'll kill someone, no, but that was my favorite part. Like, to be in power. Most of the times you find it's reversed. The woman is the one who's the victim. The man is the one behind the gun. But here, I was like, I've got the upper hand for once. And yeah, it felt empowering, in a way.
And let's say you were to sit down with young girls who are in drugs already, who have been part of it. What would you say to them? What is your advice?
Nothing changes. That's my advice. Nothing changes. Whatever situation you're in, doing drugs is not going to change it. Try and find something more positive that could actually help you and benefit you. Because with drugs, if you're in a bad situation, you do drugs, you're going to get into a worse situation. Either you're going to have STDs, you're going to get addicted, you're going to lose your mind. There's a whole lot of things that can happen. So you're not doing anything to help yourself. Nothing changes if you do it.
In your cast, is there anyone who's done drugs or who's doing drugs?
Not that we know of. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Do you know anyone?
No.
I don't know anyone who's doing drugs, which is a good thing.
But but also probably would be a bad thing. Because you'd have wanted someone with a bit of some experience who's done that, who can actually talk heart to heart.
Who's come out of it, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
That's not true.
Okay.
We
Talk
are
to me.
professionals.
Mm-hmm.
As for me, I'm a professional actor. So I embody the character. I'm not like taking the drugs. I embody the character. I don't take drugs. Because I'm a professional actor, I can act anything.
You could be Wiki Nail today.
Yeah, I can be anything. I can be anything. As long as,
You're paid.
exactly.
Uh,
If you pay me, then I am.
well, I'm not going to pay you now, but it would just be me for a moment.
You for a moment.
Yes.
I said I don't act for free. I don't act for free. I need money. Exactly.
Is the profession paying at this moment in this country?
The profession is not paying. That's the truth. Huh? The profession is not paying.
I think you find that everyone that is involved with film at large in Zimbabwe is most likely has another trade, which is important anyhow if you're dealing with arts in general in Zimbabwe. To have another trade is always to fall back on. It's always important. I think it's both a good and a bad thing. The good part is you do end up getting a lot of people that are working that are just passionate about it, that are coming into it for the love of it. The other side of it is obviously that's not as sustainable as any other trade would be.
And it also doesn't give you the opportunity to hone that craft to the...
Exactly, you're right. So you do end up doing it because you love to do it, but as you do need to find other ways to sustain yourself.
What happens if you lock the devil behind bars? He repents. Did you repent?
We're gonna have to wait and see for that one. But that is definitely one of my favorite parts of the movie. Is I don't know if I'm spoiling the movie by saying this. I don't know if I should, but it's consequences. Because that's not something that you see every day with, like Paul was saying, there's a supply chain, and usually the guys at the top are protected.
Exactly.
Because they get all of these young kids to do their runarounds, and it ends up being that when justice is served, it's only served to those young boys or those young girls that are doing the runs. And so I love that part in particular because we get to actually see justice served at that level.
I mean, Dogon, which one's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite. Yeah, Dream Prison. So, Pattern in Dream Prison was my favorite because personally, I had a chance to pin them cat in prison. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that part because I know prison ndoziziya zviri muno hakusi kwekuenda. So yeah, I love that part.
Ona chika vakangotimangarira ivo vanobayawo because tiri muno muzinzese titese uiona nyachi. I like that part when you were saying that, and you also were thinking about that part when you're in prison.
Yeah.
You saw you were wrong.
Yeah, and wrong.
Makangobaya mega.
Takaenda tiri 2 nemwangu. Akasara.
Because ndima mune mhosva mwanga maita entrapment, mabata vana and influence them. You know, they call it grooming, is it?
Yeah. Because all of those girls in the movie are supposed to be underage as well. So it was more than just drugs and more than just, you know, kidnapping and all sorts. It was just also that you're dealing with doing that with and to underage girls. So yeah, it was a lot to bag us in the end, but very vital to show that side of things as well.
And how did you escape? Because I was looking to see you in prison and you're not in.
That's my secret. I'm seeing the next one. I guess I knew what I was doing, let's just say. In a way, I was a puppeteer. So, and the escape artist as well. Like Houdini in the movie. You never know where I went to or what I was doing. You know, just being shady, hiding in the shadows.
Did you enjoy the experience? You said that this was your first time. Did you enjoy the experience? Do you think, watching it, do you think you could have done better or what?
Of course, you always watch something like there was room for improvement, but I'm actually quite proud of myself for the guts because I'm a very shy person.
You are?
I don't do well.
You don't look shy.
I'm an actor. this is an act. But inside, I'm shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So for me, that was me coming out of my comfort zone. And that was part of my New Year's resolution. So for that to happen in January when it started, I was like, okay, I'm actually working towards something. I told myself I want to do. So that was me coming out of my comfort zone. And that's the main thing I feel like I achieved.
So without Premier Business School, the movie would not have been funded, right? What is your expression to Ngoni Sanangula and his business to come out and say, we're funding this?
Gratitude. I'm very happy and thankful that he took his time to actually want to fund this and his resources and all of that. Because not so many people look at the arts industry, they're not really keen on wanting to do anything in it. So to find someone who's in business and thinking, let me actually also have some sort of input in art, that means a lot. It means a lot. And we're actually very grateful for his input in this thing.
Nice of you?
Yeah, same. I'll echo that because like we were talking about before, investment in movies and arts in general is not a lot in Zimbabwe, and Mr. Alex is not just sponsoring this for the sake of he loves arts. He loves art, he loves movies, and you should see him like in the background when he's on sets. He's involved and he's immersed in the process. So it's a good thing, and I'm hoping that his willingness to invest in this will like influence other people as well to just look at this and see that it is worth investing in.
And my actor who doesn't act without getting paid.
So nothing say Alex wabita basa rakakura chesu chaizo. Basa rihombe rekuti sekufunga kwangu inini. Funga kwangu. Pamwe government yotozvitadza because ini ndane more than 8 years ndiri mufilm industry. Mafilm ese anenge achingoitwa handisandambonzwa hangu maybe pamwe ndiri murodi yangu ndega kana kunzi kune mafilmuwo amupindura nekasindo yafanda chichichichi. So ndi achingotozviitwa nasealex zvinhu zvihombe ende tinovatenda. Takanga chingoti daiwo kana paito nevamwe vanokwanisa kuramba vachita sei vachikwanisa kutibatsira kuti basa redu riende kumberi sezviri kana Alex nebusiness premier school ndaitovakurudzira kuti vauye tibatane tiite basa kuti riende mberi.
Amazing. Now I will allow you, each and every one of you, your final words. I'll start with the kingpin, or the queenpin.
Final words. Well, I don't want to be cliche. At the end of this, you want me to say no to drugs, don't do drugs. Let's try and tackle the root cause of why people are doing drugs. Let's try and be active in our children's lives. Let's try and listen to the youth as well. Let's try and help them and have them find some sort of purpose in this life, because without that, the end goal is drugs. That seems to be the only outlet. And to the youth, drugs are not the solution. It will just destroy you. So just don't try it.
Amazing. Right?
Yeah, I think I would say, first and foremost, that this is a very important movie. And it needs to be seen. It needs to be out there. So anybody that can share, anybody that can help promote it so that it can get into to most people as possible. What she talked about how to navigate this situation is more than just saying no to drugs, don't do drugs, but tackling other aspects of it and giving people things to do. It doesn't have to be jobs, which that would be best if that was available, but there are so many programs that people can enroll themselves in to help themselves. So I think this is going to be a very important movie. It's not as difficult as people think to indulge in drugs, just because of the circles these people hang around in. And we may not know someone who is dealing with it, but someone out there is going to get awareness from it. So I would be very grateful if this movie gets out there.
Amazing. That one?
All right, so say no to drugs and substance abuse. And mswat 25 iwo mwedzi uno ngokukokai nekuwanda kwenyu kwamakaita moyo wawo kutekniko kusinema kuti muchuya kuzoona filimu yacho atinonzi focus. Saka tichange richiwanika mumasinema ese kubva kuBulawayo muno muHarare paJoina City nekuBorodie handiti. Saka ndokukokai mese kuti muuye muzoona focus.
So on the 25th, memory kwere was panana assigned something kanana dangukuona vadatoro ma pictures nemi.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Will you be there?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be there to see Toriro and and make this right now. This is the situation right now with me, host as usual. Dhara B and I was in studio and in conversation with the team, the cast of Focus. Now, understanding your purpose in life is something that's very, very, very important. If you know your purpose, if you have dreams and you're focused, you will be able to resist drugs. You will be able to stand out and move towards doing something with your life. Drugs are a one-way street. There is no turning back. I've heard stories. I've heard stories. As I no sticker for a whole week. For the whole week. And is that focus, is that purpose in life? Now, these young actors that I have here in the studio have opened up their souls and their hearts to try and teach you something, to try and make us move as a nation, right? And those behind the movie, arts is a very, very big industry. And art can actually provide an escape route from drugs for young people. I call on government, I call on the Ministry of Arts, Sports, to ensure that they invest in making sure that young people get access to making a difference in their life. Now, this is the situation right now here on Heart and Soul TV and radio. Now, your proud host as usual, Dhara B. Until next time, thank you for making us your station of choice. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Paul. Mtori. Beautiful. Ryan and Paul, I mean, in real life, Ryan and Paul always work together. Don't they? Thank you very much, guys.
No, thank you for having me.